Welcome to WST. You know what I got today, Big Ben?
Wow.
Rendon. Let's go. Trout, Rendon, Upton.
So you missed off two pitchers, and you figure you're just going to score more runs than everyone else.
We're going to make some other deals. We're not done.
I love it. I love
Angels. Let's go. Baseball winter meetings.
I have 4 or 5 pictures with you with a LA Dodgers hat on.
No, I do not have a Dodgers hat. That is untrue statement. And if you have those pictures, which you don't, please show them.
I will find one before this little episode's over.
All right. Winter meetings are over. Let's get into some college football.
All right. Can you take that A's hat or the Angels hat off?
Are you serious? No, I don't want my gray hair to show.
I
want the fans to think I'm young and hip.
Pac-12?
Yeah.
You know what I love about this episode? I believe it's the last time we're going to talk about Pac-12.
You know what I like about the live stream? I can see how much BS you're streaming. I can look into your eyes.
Oh my gosh. I'm tired. I'm winded. It's been a tough road in talking about Pac-12 football. I will be honest. But let's start with talking about the Pac-12 awards, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year.
We're going to get into the Pac-12 title championship game?
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Utah flat. What happened?
Ducks roll 37-15 at Levi Stadium. Utah came in flat. Ducks came in ready. They were up 20-0 at half. And then they just rode the CJ Verdell train. 200 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That late breaking
Utah
score.
Started slow. They just couldn't come back.
I don't know. Do you think it's coaching at that point? Here's the difference, actually. The freshman defensive player of the year arguably probably was the best player on the field that night. Can you name him?
Thibodeau.
There you go. Thibodeau made a big difference. I mean, I think at one point he had 3 sacks, key 4th down or 3rd down late in the game. Utah somewhat making a push, and Thibodeau comes up with a big sack. I agree. Ducks just had better athletes, and I think Huntley scheming. Zach Moss can only run the ball so many times. The Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year as announced by the league just recently, but not enough to beat the Ducks.
Not enough.
And the Big Herm ruined it for the Pac-12.
You're saying it again.
He's kicking back. Here's Big Herm right now. Kicking back, and Scott's still going, oh, man, I'm sorry. Mario had to come down to Tempe and lose to me in December. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
He's loving it. But he also ruined it for Larry Scott.
Well, let me ask you this. If Utah would have won, Bama lost, would Utah be taking Oklahoma's place in the BCS?
You have to say yes, just based on the rankings going into the game. And I don't think Oklahoma did enough against Baylor, OT win, to really sway any of the voters. Now, that said, who knows with the committee, right? But if Utah wins handedly, I'd say by 14 points, they're in. If what happened, right? And now we're the only Power 5 conference with a team not in the college football playoff. And an article came out recently. Larry Scott was addressing, I don't know who, but it came out very, we haven't been in the playoff, we're out again. You just got to win. Yeah. Well, you can't go in with a team. You can't go make an argument with a team with two losses, right?
Well, Kyle Whittington came on his press conference, and he basically said, we have a tough conference. You've got to run the table. And then you have to win the Pac-12 championship game just to get a BCS bowl.
Well,
which is hard to do.
Absolutely. But I mean, the argument doesn't stand when you have 2 losses.
Agreed.
Right? And
saying how challenging it is.
Here's the thing, though. If Oregon wouldn't have lost to ASU, without a doubt, they're in the college football playoff. That loss to Auburn after they beat Bama looks really good on their resume.
That's true.
Some would even consider that a loss. It's an away game for them for the most part, but
it goes back to Big Herm.
Big Herm just smoking a stick in Scottsdale. Just Mario. I'm sure he's just writing a nice little letter to Mario. I apologize for beating you guys. You know what's surprising to me? Freshman Player of the Year offense for the Pac-12 as not us.
Yeah.
Not you and I, K-Win.
Yeah.
But the Pac-12 voted Guess who?
It's either Slovis or JT
Swammy
Daniels.
Slovis.
There's only two. It's either one of the quarterbacks.
How do you not give it to him?
Look at Slovis's stats.
I know. But there's a reason that Anthony Gordon didn't win Pac-12 first team quarterback. Everyone knows that Huntley was a better quarterback.
I get what you're saying.
Right? Slovis was out for a while. I think Daniels was robbed.
Slovis does have
Cristobal probably voted for Slovis.
Slovis's receivers are a joke. They're so good with Pittman, Amon St. Brown, and Tyler Vaughn.
That's another thing, right? He's throwing to probably 3 future NFLers. I could do that.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And I can't throw it past 5 yards.
Can we talk about the defensive player of the year and the
Let's
guy?
Let's go into our awards.
Okay, go
WSTs. Ahead. The WSTs.
You go with offensive because defense is game over.
Yeah. So he originally committed to the University of Miami, but later changed to a Pac-12 South school. He scored 15 touchdowns, rushed for 113 yards per game, over 1,200 yards overall, and led his school to a Pac-12 South title game and an Alamo Bowl appearance. I'm talking about Zach Moss, running back from the Utes. He's everyone's Pac-12 player of the year. He's my Pac-12 player of the year.
Zach Moss, congratulations. As we get into the defensive player of the year, it is unanimous. This guy had 172 tackles this year, tops in the NCAA. Arguably the most tackles, not arguably, I believe the most tackles in a season in a long time in the NCAA, probably ellipsing his last year, which was 150 plus. The guy's out of Spokompton. I don't know how the Cougs missed on him, but Evan Weaver is our Pac-12 defensive player of the year. And Evan, if you do not get the Dick Butkus Award, you have been robbed, my friend. You have been robbed. Bring that back to Spokane.
14.4 tackles a game. And I think if we didn't give him this award, he would have run down and tackled us both. So we might be out of concussion protocol as a result.
Hey, honorable mention to Blake Mazza, special teams player of the year. We don't mention them much, but Mazza's up for Luke Groza finalist. He did lose, but 15 to 16 from field goals. So good year for the Coug kicker. That's all I got.
I had Slovis. I was going to say Slovis for freshman of the year. I guess we just differ on that one.
I guess we do too.
But here's the important news coming out of LA. JT Daniels is not entering the transfer protocol. He's coming back and he's going to compete for the starting job.
Protocol or portal? Either or.
Portal, probably.
Either or. I made the prediction he was just going to walk in and enter the portal.
Yeah.
Just beat me up.
You said he was going to go to the Blues.
I honestly, Mike Leach is back. He probably the first thing he did after he signed his extension, got on a flight, flew to Seattle, and then flew down to LA and tried to sway JT Daniels to come to Palouse.
Let me ask you this question. Spring football, after it's done and they name a starter, well, hopefully they name a starter.
What happens then?
Yeah. If you're Slovis, what do you do if you don't get the starting job?
If they name Daniels.
JT Daniels the starter. What if you do? You're Keenan Slovis. You just won freshman of the year. You lit the world on fire, and now you're back up again.
That's a little egregious on lit the world on fire. I mean, you had the 3 best wide receivers probably in the Pac-12 collectively. Sure. You probably sit it and wait and see. JT Daniels is injury prone. Let's be honest. I mean, for a guy like that, I don't think you can be on the first train out of town, bus out of town, plane out of town. You probably want to wait and see. USC, let's be honest. Let's look at the history behind USC quarterbacks. You had a guy like Matt Castle, who was a backup, but still made it in the NFL for the most part. I can give you a few more, but I mean, so staying there, I think the idea that Clay Helton's sticking around, hopefully they get back to more of the competitive nature that a guy like Pete Carroll instilled in that it's practice. You're playing against the top players in the Pac-12 regardless, right? You're not going to go play against any other better players than you are in practice. So I think Slovis will benefit from that, even if JT Daniels is announced a starter next year. I don't think he leaves.
Role reversal. Slovis beats out JT Daniels. You're JT Daniels. What are you going to do?
He go.
Yeah.
I'm taking that 2-legged flight to the Palouse. I'm taking it to Mississippi. I'm taking it wherever there's a new coach that probably doesn't have the time to attract a top flight quarterback, because every quarterback wants to know when they want to play. But I would go find the quickest coach that's coming in as a first-year coach, or a coach that's, a firing's been happening or there's any way, and I'd go play for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss.
I like where your head's at, Big Ben.
All right. You want to get into the bowl games?
Coach of the year.
Coach of the year. I feel like if you don't give it to Whittingham, he's going to watch us and hunt us down.
I mean, how do you not get it to Cristobal? They're the winners.
They are the winners. But as a coach, right? A coach, what do? A true coach takes the most that they can get out of the players that they've been given. It makes them excel in the field.
Wasn't Utah ranked ahead of the Ducks going into this year?
Yeah, but it's about what you do with the players. It's not the rankings or anything like that. I just think the attraction to Cristobal's got so much going for him. Phil Knight money is ridiculous. The Shoehound is funneling money in that program.
Is that like WST money?
No, not even close.
Hey, I went to go get a credit card yesterday at Chase. He was asking about our financials. I was like, hey, man, we're in the red. He still extended me a line of credit.
Did you give him a hat?
I know. But he's asking me about the pod. We got one new listener. It's our banker.
But getting back to, I'd give it to Whittingham, to be honest, just because I don't think the recruiting prowess that Utah or that Oregon holds over Utah. Thibodeau was the top player in the country last year as a recruit.
Yeah,
Utah's not getting those type of players. And I think Whittingham, as far as he gets every year, people are surprised. So the job he does, I'd give my award to Whittingham.
I agree. And Herbert was an early Heisman favorite or candidate coming into this year. So he's got loads and loads of talent and more talent. So again, you outduel me again.
I know.
I'll go Whittingham as well.
Okay, thank you, my friend. Let's get in the bowls.
Let's go.
God, they're a little dicey this year, I must say.
Are we getting into the BCS bowls?
Why don't we end with BCS? Let's end at the top. I feel like we'd start with BCS. We'd only be going down. We'd end up at the Red Box Bowl, and everyone would stop listening.
So we're just going to go Pac-12 bowl games, right?
Let's go Pac-12. Let's start with chronological, or however you want to say it. First bowl game of the season is the 21st. Intriguing matchup. Why do I say that?
Is it the UW Boise game?
Boise State, UW. You know what I thought about this? It's like Coach Peterson's on his way out, Jimmy Lake's on his way in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Coach Peterson becoming homecoming king, and then guess who shows up or gets voted as your queen? Your ex-girlfriend.
I like that analogy. You got to hang out together. You're so over it.
And you're down in Vegas. There's so many other things to do. People to see. People to meet. Things to do. But no, with the announcement of Peterson on his way out, it's kind of ironic that they played Boise State down in Vegas. Both fan bases, or I know Boise State are not going to take advantage. And that's just stereotyping a little bit. But knowing UW, good following down there. I wish the Cougs were going down. 2-2 all time in their matchup. In 2012, odd fact here, Boise State actually beat UW when Peterson was coaching. They beat Sarkisian. And then 2015, remember Steve Sarkisian, by the way?
Yeah, he's at Bama now, offensive coordinator.
He is. 2015, Boise State beat Peterson 16-13 in Boise. So
it's 1-1?
Yeah. One person broke up with another one, then the other person broke up, they cheated, and then it came back together. I guess you could say. What do you see in this game?
UW started the season with high hopes, ended the season in the toilet bowl. But I think they rally around Chris Peterson. It's his last game. He's going to put a lot of effort into the film. He knows Boise. He knows the stakes. He wants to go out on top. I think Eason has a great game. I've got the Huskies winning, a close one.
Okay. Here's my take is I don't know if Eason he reminds me of Herbert going in the last year. Remember, people were like, is he going to declare? Is he not going to declare? I don't think he'd shown enough to where NFL scouts were like, oh, we'll just take you on height and arm strength alone. Because I think as of late, NFL teams have got burnt on that.
Yep.
Brock Osweiler, those type of guys. I think Boise State.
I think Cutler turned out great.
Him and Herb and Jay Cutler. Okay.
Jay Cutler's a reality star.
He is. Kristen Cavallari. Wow. I think Boise State beats UW, but silver lining for UW fans, Eason comes back.
Okay.
I could see a lot of quarterbacks declaring this year, and Eason just hasn't shown enough, especially being a backup in Georgia. You can't be a flash in the pan 1 year, right? And I don't think he's done all that much this year to really create enough intrigue to separate himself from guys like Hebert and Tui and, even Joe Burrow for that matter.
Yeah.
Right. And so Boise State wins, but don't worry, Doc fans. Eason's coming back to Montlake. He can work his way out of U District.
Montlake Jake
back into Montlake.
Yeah.
All right. We got the Holiday Bowl.
Remember when?
Remember
when we saw Cougs Michigan State 2 years ago? Holiday Bowl. I had just moved to LA. You flew down to San Diego. You said, let's go to the game.
You were a Coug for the day.
I was a Coug for the day. And then in the hotel bar, we wrote down our business plan, and then we launched WST.
There we go. I love it.
Did they change the name?
To what?
Because it was the Holiday Bowl. Now it's like the San Diego Union Credit Holiday Bowl.
They had to find a sponsor. Come on.
Can that paragraph even fit on the scoreboard?
It's the whole streamline around the stadium. San Diego Credit, you gotta look around for the score.
They can't even put it in the touchdown. They've got to write it in Times New Roman 8.
You got the guy down there with the spray paint trying to figure it out. All right. Later in the month, 27th of December, we got the Holiday Bowl. USC versus Iowa. I can imagine the trio of receivers down in the gas lamp district.
Yeah. Getting bottle service like WST does it.
Yes. 7-2 all-time USC holds the lead over Iowa. Here's my take. It comes down to those receivers. Slovis is healthy. Yeah. I don't think Iowa ground and pound in the Big Ten has seen receivers like this in that conference, for that matter. So I think that USC puts up big numbers. Helton gets some momentum going next year, helps his recruiting cause. 42-17, USC all over.
Wow. I normally go with the Trojans playing in my backyard, but I think Iowa shuts down the offense. They hold the ball, they pound the ball, and Slovis has 2 costly turnovers. I've got Iowa 28, USC 14 in an ugly game. I ain't watching it.
I'll watch it for the first quarter. All these bowl games are good for a first quarter watch, unless there's someone intrigued. All right, same day, just a little later, 7:30 Eastern. I will be on 7:30 Pacific. Is that right?
Yeah, probably. It's in Phoenix, right?
Is that right? Hold on. If that's right, I'm going to have to stay up till 1 a.m. to watch that game.
You're going to be in
the
Topeka?
Cheez-It Bowl. The Cheez-It Bowl. Featuring the 10
and 2. Right?
It's actually at Chase Stadium.
Oh, nice.
We're playing in Diamondbacks ballpark. It'll look a lot like
Gordon has a QB sneak. Is he going to jump in the pool in the outfield?
Overthrow someone so they land in the pool?
Yeah.
Oh. No, it features the 10-2 Air Force Falcons, who have never met the WSU Cougars. The Air Force's only losses this year are to Boise State and Navy. Solid team. Yeah, it is at 7 p.m. or 7:15 Pacific. So late one for the East Coast Cougs. For me, it's an ESPN game. There's not that as last year when we played in the Alamo Bowl, there's a little more intrigue. Yeah. And that we're playing Iowa State ranked. This one's a little less, intriguing, I guess.
A little lackluster.
A little lackluster. But I'll give the Cougs a win in this one, 42-37. High-powered offense out of Air Force. They haven't scored less than 17 points, I think, this season in a game. So, it's probably the last team with the ball wins, and hopefully that's the Cougs. I'm going to predict it's the Cougs. 42-37, Cougs win.
I got the Cougs winning as well. The high-flying Cougs offense. They're going to put up a little 50-burger. I got the Cougs scoring, let's go 55 to 27. It's going to be over right when it starts. Gordon's going to march down the field, score on his first 3 drives. It's going to be over.
Congrats to Eric Gordon, leading the country in passing yards. I think that's three, maybe 4 straight years the Coug quarterback has. Phenomenal recruiting tool for Mike Leach. You want to lead the country in passing yards?
Come here.
Come over. JT Daniels? Come on. All right, December 30th, Cal versus Illinois. Lovie Smith in a bowl game?
Lovey. He's got that big gray beard.
6-6. Just scoot it in.
Yeah.
Scoot it into the Red Box Bowl.
Lovey and Illinois or Cal and Wilcox?
Both.
Yeah.
Wilcox got him to 7-5. You know what's funny about Illinois?
Didn't they start off 4-0 or like 5-1?
Very similar team. So I was looking at this. I was like, okay, let me look at the records. Illinois starts out, wins 2 cupcakes. They lose 4 straight. Then they win 4 straight, upset Wisconsin, and they lose the last 2. Very similar to Cal. Cal got off, hot start, lost a ton. And then I think they lost 4 straight, and then they won 3 of their last 4.
Yeah.
So very similar teams, very similar outset. I got my boy Weaver and their defense shutting out Illinois 17-0 in probably the most boring bowl game we're going to see all bowl game season.
I got the Cubs putting up more runs in the first spring training game than Illinois is going to score, but I'm going Illinois. They're going to go. It's going to be like 12-9. This game's going to be awful.
Oh, brutal. I think there was if you Google this, looking back to a game between TCU and Cal in a bowl, it ended up like 12-9 with like 4 field goals, like just ton of controversy, like all types of weird stuff happened. That very well could happen again to Cal. This game has very, very little intrigue to me, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe it's comical. Maybe it's fun to watch.
It's not even on my bowl radar. I wrote down the games, and I guess I must have just skipped over it.
Forgot the Red Box? Everyone else has too.
Yeah.
Everyone else has Netflix. All right. If you are still going to Redbox and getting those DVDs, do you have a DVD player?
No.
Who does?
I don't know. My computer doesn't even have it anymore. I don't know how you play those. No cars have it. No computers have it.
You are getting a Blu-ray player for Christmas. That is a re-gift. And or very heavily discounted at Best Buy. Yes. Redbox Bowl. What do you think that bowl is going to eventually turn into? The Hulu Bowl?
The Amazon Prime Bowl?
All right. We got 2 games on the 31st. We got Big Herb in El Paso. Sun Bowl.
Wow, I don't even have the Sun Bowl on here. How many Pac-12 teams made it? 8 bowl games?
7, I think.
No, it's 8.
Is it 8?
Yeah. Because we've already gone through 5. This is the 6th.
No, you got Washington, USC, Washington State, Cal, Arizona State,
Oregon, and then Utah.
That's 7.
Oh yeah, sorry. Bad with math. 7. Good thing I'm not our CFO.
You got the what are we calling this?
Forks Up.
Forks Up versus dun, 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 dun. I think that's correct, right? The Tomahawk Chop.
Yeah.
Mike Norvell coming in from Memphis to coach Mop Up after who's the guy that Taggart just signed? Excuse me. Went to Florida Atlantic after Lane Kiffin left to Ole Miss. But Norvell comes in. I believe he's coaching the team for this game. I want to say Big Herm coming off a good year. I think he's got a top 15 recruiting class. Is that right? Again, as a freshman QB, him and Marvin Lewis again. I mean, that's
doing big things in the desert.
Trace Eno Benjamin is off to the NFL after this game, after a 1,000-yard season. Again, for me, Jaden Daniels, freshman of the year. I don't know how that doesn't happen. Here's my thing. ASU torches FSU.
Ooh.
And Eno Benjamin wins the Pace Picante Player of the Game award.
I got forks up too.
I don't know why it's not called the Pace Picante award.
It should be.
Isn't that the Pace Picante commercial where they're sitting around the fire and they're like, New York City? And then they go into like, we get all our ingredients from El Paso. That's got to be right. I think that's right.
No, you're right. And I don't have anything. I don't know how to follow that Pace Picante analogy. So I'm just going to say forks up as well.
Pace Picante, Player of the Game. You want to go to Sun Bowl?
Sure. Let's go.
Great. It's the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Anyone can get a bowl game.
I know.
We're going to see Toucan Sam sponsor some bowl in Florida here soon. I mean,
who's in
is
the
that
Sun
the
Bowl?
Frosted Flakes?
Who's in the Sun Bowl?
Sun Bowl, you got Utah, Texas.
No, I thought that's the Alamo Bowl.
Tony the Tiger Alamo Bowl. You're right.
Yeah.
So I got screwed up there.
It's in San Antonio. That's why I was like, who's in the Sun Bowl? Are we going out of our jurisdiction?
Either way, Tony the Tiger Alamo Bowl? How does that make sense?
Tony's big in San Antonio.
Ton of Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
In the corner of the market.
It's big in the Southwest.
Utah versus Texas. Home game for Texas.
Home game. I got the Utes coming in a little upset that they didn't win, a little sluggish. I don't think Kyle Whittingham can right the ship. I got Texas rolling with their big alumni network. Horns up. UT, I got Texas winning 42-27.
My only question about this game, because there is no question, I think you're right. Texas wins. Does Matthew McConaughey show up?
Yeah, with Lance Armstrong.
Lance bikes to San Antonio.
Yeah.
From Austin, and McConaughey's there.
Yeah, he gets there in 15 hours.
All right, I got Texas beating Utah too. I think it's going to be, again, after the loss and that Pac-12, I don't know. Here's my thing too with a guy like Moss, and we're going to see this more and more, but headlines around seniors or running backs or position players that, have maybe they're looking at declaring for the NFL, or they do before the bowl game, sitting out. I can see someone like Zach Moss doing that. Now, does it happen? And it's nothing against his character, but we all know a running back going into the draft with his stock and where it's at, he can't really improve anymore, in my opinion, playing a bowl game like that. So
I'm with you.
All right, New Year's Day, the granddaddy of them all.
Uh-oh, Rose Bowl, Pasadena.
My boy, Keith Jacobson. Was it Jacobson?
Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson, not Jacobson.
Yeah.
Keith Jackson, old Cougar alum. Granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl down in Pasadena. You going?
No, I should go.
You should go. Why aren't you going?
I had no reason. No reason.
You're not going
to. Oh,
get yourself. You don't look very good in green. I don't blame you. 2012 was the last meeting, actually in the Rose Bowl. So it's been 7 years? Chip Kelly beat Wisconsin. The thing here, though, is
that Chip's last bowl win?
Could be his last win overall.
Could be the last time he's going to play at the Rose Bowl.
Exactly. I think the Ducks win with the same score. Here's my only thing. Here's the X factor. This guy hasn't got a lot of press because guys like Joe Burrow and Tui and even quarterback for OSU, Fields, a lot of these guys taken, but Jonathan Taylor is still probably the best running back in college football. If we can see that same output from Thibodeau, game over, Ducks win. If they can't stop Taylor, maybe a different story. I still got the Ducks winning 45-38. Same score, 2012, just a different coach.
Wisconsin almost shocked the world last week. They were up at halftime to Ohio State, the big-powered Ohio State. They know how to slow down a big offense. I think they'll keep the game close, but I agree. Ducks will win 34-21. Go Ducks. Now we move on to
college football playoff. Thank you.
the college football playoff.
Graphics intern. Good job. All right. If you're putting money on this game, LSU's at plus 125. Do you know what that means?
That means they've got no chance of losing.
I'll take
So,
the sure.
go
I'll take the
all
sure
in.
thing for $100. LSU plus 125, Clemson plus 225, Ohio State plus 250, meaning odds makers see that as a toss-up game in the semifinal of the college football playoff. Oklahoma, they're saying they have no chance, plus 1,400.
I'm
Boomer
saying
Seniors.
Oklahoma has no chance. Joe Burrow. Next game, it's going to be blowout city.
There was a comment made. It doesn't feel right without Saban there. It's the first time Bama hasn't been in the college football playoff. Dabo Sweeney had a great comment. He's like, "Don't worry, we've saved Saban a seat."
Wow, he talked trash?
I don't think he was saying. It was more or less like everyone was talking. They asked him about Saban, obviously, because Clemson's had historically always. I mean,
Is it the last 3 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's been the last 3 years, right?
Yeah, it's been the last 3.
So of course, when that person that you always come to the dance with isn't there, people are going to ask questions. And he's like, "Yeah, we save him a seat. Don't worry about Saban. He'll be back." Like he's fine. They missed it once. But I could just see Dabo's, the way he probably articulated that was not shrewd, but almost comical in a way.
Yeah, I think he's a likable, lovable guy, so we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he was talking trash. I think he respects Saban, and I think he was just having a little bit of fun.
So Clemson 3-0 all-time versus OSU.
And in 2016 bowl game, Clemson crushed the Buckeyes 31-0 behind Superman. Deshaun Watson ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for another.
Cam Newton's going to be furious who said that.
Well, Cam needs to get on the field and play.
Who's this Cam?
Where's Cam going to sign next year?
Come on, let's not digress. So, what do you want to go? Well, LSU is going to beat the Sooners.
Yeah, I thought we were already over that game.
The only thing is that Jalen Hurts actually plays out of his mind, like Vince Young type stuff, back to the Rose Bowl when Texas beat USC. That's the only way they have a chance.
Yeah, but they can't slow down LSU's offense.
I guess I agree with that. Do you know Burrow's got a 70% plus completion percentage? That's crazy.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Most touchdowns, 48 for the year. The kid is inevitably going to win the Heisman.
Yeah, and he's inevitably going to end up in Miami, and he might not win another game. Go Dolphins!
Could you see him, Fitz, and Rosen hanging out?
Hey, the good thing is he could be on Ballers maybe because they shoot down there in South Florida.
Next thing we know, he's got more cameos than Melvin Gordon had last season on Ballers. All right, Clemson's 3-0 all-time versus OSU. Here's the thing, though. You talked about Deshaun Watson. You know who plays a lot like Deshaun Watson? Not Trevor Lawrence. But the guy on the other team,
okay,
Justin Fields. For those of you that take any interest in watching Netflix documentaries like myself, there's one called QB1. Justin Fields was documented after, I believe he committed to Georgia.
Yep.
Hometown guy. Kind of, you could see that the mentality there, the sway, but after finding, out that Jake Fromm's going to be there for the until he screwed up, which he doesn't. He found a new home, and he's looked good at Ohio State. But Trevor Lawrence, Clemson Tigers, they've been there before. Fields, Trevor's played on the big stage. He's won the big game. He's beat Bama. Fields hasn't been there. And I mean, this is bigger than a, Georgia State championship in high school. This is the big one. For that reason, I got Clemson winning. Their running back looks good. Is it Ethan?
Yeah. Broke all these ACC records, touchdowns, yards.
Good against Virginia. I think they keep rolling. A tighter one than most would say. I bet you they win 31-28. Late score by Ohio State, but 31-28 Clemson.
So everyone all year, or at least the latter half of the year, was talking about Ohio State could go down as the greatest college football team of all time.
What are your sources? Because I think I told you that after another source from ESPN said that.
Both you, Urban Meyer, and Kurt Herbstreit said that. All related to the Buckeyes. But you know what? A lot of those people that said that were quiet during the first half of Wisconsin-Ohio State last week. And Wisconsin exposed a lot of flaws. And I just don't think Ohio State has enough. Trevor Lawrence, doesn't he look like that quarterback from Remember the Titans? Sunshine?
Yeah, you're the first person. You just realized that? You're the last person to realize that.
I probably was the last person to realize that because I don't watch that kind of football. It's on the other coast. But anyways, Trevor struggled earlier in the year. He's been great the last half of the year. 20 touchdowns, 1 interception in the last half of the games. He's just building for the playoff. He's building for the moment. I got Clemson winning as well.
You know what?
It's not going to be as close as you say. I got it 38-24.
You know what's funny? We talk about load management. That entire ACC schedule is load management for Clemson.
Yeah.
I don't think they show anything. I don't think they have to show anything. They are far and away the class of the ACC.
Yeah, there's no competition.
Virginia looked overwhelmed, although they played well in the first, call it 20 minutes of the game. It's like Clemson was in first gear that first 20 minutes, and they just kicked it at the third and game over. My favorite quarterback, my favorite coach in college football, Ed Orgeron.
You do love him.
I love Ed. Ever since I read that book, one of 4 books I've ever read in my life about him and his recruiting at Ole Miss and just what it took. I think he talked about who's the guy that ended up going Divine or something like that. But if you listen to him talk, it sounds like he hasn't met a Marbread that he hasn't liked in his life. It's very hard. But also a guy that even after they won the SEC championship, talked about Joe Burrow. He doesn't talk about himself and what he did for the game and how they prepared, but rather just very, very down-to-earth guy. And coming from an assistant coach position into that, a lot of times people may not think that, your coaching skills, you've never been a head coach before, even though he had in the past, but some people may doubt you. He's showing, I think, what a lot of other coaches don't have in some respects, but that the trust and love of his players can overcome some of his deficiencies. And I agree. I never see it. I haven't seen a team this year play harder than guys at LSU, and just love that guy more. Probably the most lovable coach too. He college is. Football. Him and Dabo.
Let's get into it. Ooh. Lovable coach number 1 against lovable coach number 2. College football national championship. We both have LSU playing Clemson. And I'll go first. I'll kick this off. You said it before. I'll steal words out of your mouth. Clemson's been here. They've been on the big stage. They're not afraid. I just think they have enough and more experience. They're going to shine. LSU's going to be a little bit tight. Dabo's going to come up with something a little tighter, and the Clemson is winning again.
Whew. So, yeah, I think about it this way. So you look at their conference. ACC, again, not challenging this year or any year for the last few years for that matter. Clemson's just generally handled business. LSU, year in, year out, they're playing Georgia, they're playing Bama, they're playing SEC schedule's tough. The difference will be the outcomes of, obviously, who comes in the cleanest? I say that injury wise, kind of maybe even playbook wise. Do you have to overexpose in the previous game? Do you because a lot of times what coaches will do, they have enough time leading in the bowl games that they'll input, some sort of system or some sort of play, subset of plays in which they can exploit. So if you have to do too much and you expose yourself too much in the first game, you don't have enough left from scheming playbooks, different plays to go out.
Hasn't shown anything all year.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
they're going to go to play 2 of the playbook. Ohio State, and then maybe 3 and 4 in the national championship game. There's no scout. They don't know what.
We've ran 1A. We've ran 1A 99% of the time outside of punting. So let's run 1B. I get what you're saying, but
all right. The last 3 times down, we've run trips right. Let's go trips left, and then let's just mix it up.
Honestly, for me, it's a coin toss here. But I agree with your. They've been there. They've done that. But I also agree with LSU beating Bama. Someone has said that was the Super Bowl of college football to this point, right? Outside of, people are going to say still that even after the semifinal games. But tried, true, tested. We've seen Joe Burrow show up in those games, so I think that kind of goes out untested back to Fields, right? I think he still has it. It's going to be a game. I don't know. I could see it being last team with the ball, to be honest.
You got to pick
whoever. How about this? Here's my prediction.
I don't like where you're going with this.
Whoever wins the turnover battle.
Come on.
That's what everyone says. You realize that when they can't pick a game?
Yeah.
Whoever wins the turnover battle will win. Well, whoever wins the turnover battle is 80% more likely to win the game. So I'm going to take that. Whoever wins the turnover battle.
So you're not picking a team?
No. Whoever wins the turnover battle. It's like pleading the fifth.
Yeah. It's a cop-out.
I think they're both great teams. Game I'd love to see. Honestly, the semifinal games are going to be great too. Would have been great to see a Pac-12 game or team in there, but as Larry Scott would say, he wants expansion, but he's going to be he's a whiner. I think we have the best 4 teams in football in.
He's a whiner.
He is a whiner. The guy used to be the CEO of the tennis. Nothing against tennis. These guys are hard-nosed. They don't negotiate. Hey, do you want to go, put on our all whites and I beat you, in a set, then, you have to agree to this? That's not happening here, especially in college football.
Hey, did you ever see John McEnroe play tennis? He's throwing rackets. He's cussing. Those tennis people are
I would rather have Andre Agassi as the Pac-12 commissioner than this guy, Larry Scott.
Hey, Andre did live in Marin, California, so
there you go.
He might be able to
give
do
me
it.
Boris Becker. Give me Andre. Give me anyone else in that tennis phantom, whatever you want to call it. Just not Larry Scott. Oh, we didn't have anyone that's tough. Oh, wow. Okay.
We'll get Sharapova.
There you go.
There we go.
Wow. All right.
Should we wrap this up?
WST. Last Pac-12.
Dunzo.
Football. Done.
Yeah.
Basketball hoops are right around the corner. We're getting to the conference
pretty
shortly. My Cougs lost to your Broncos, by the way.
I know. I was going to talk trash, but it's happened 2 years in a row, so it's just like a given. We're on the level of the Zags, and you're on the level of like the NAIA school, Seattle Pacific, around the corner from you.
Seattle U. All right, WST_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Check out our Facebook. We're putting out little clips all the time, thanks to Studio 57.
No, I think it's 637. we should probably get that right.
For chopping up those clips for us. Always a good time down there. And then why don't you tell them what we got coming up, I guess, where they can listen to us.
Everywhere. Podbeam, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio. Anywhere you get your podcasts, you can find WST Podcast. Get at us. Listen to us. Subscribe to us. We even have a YouTube channel. We're streaming live now. We're everywhere. And we're out.
Boom.
Boom.